Hey, it's Steve Kevin. Again, we're here at 12th and Porter here, and we've got Chris Hurt with us tonight, and he is an upcoming country artist, songwriter, and accomplished. Tell us more about yourself.
Man, I've just, been doing my thing for the last few months, and it's been a short run so far, but been pretty successful, and we're looking forward to 2011. It's a new year and a new game. We're going to throw it on you. So we'll see what you think here in a little while, you know. I know you're not familiar, yet, but we're fixing to light you on fire and see. You'll be a big Chris Hurt supporter before it's over with, I promise you.
I'm already a Chris Hurt supporter right now. I look forward to meeting you later. Chris Hurt's father was a songwriter here in Nashville. Tell me more about your father.
He was, he had a long career. He did start out when he was 14 years old playing bass and played bass for a bunch of the old school guys, and he was actually Jimi Hendrix's original bass player, which is kind of crazy to, when Jimmy got a deal, they broke up the whole band and they said, well, we're going to take you off to Boston, I think is where they went, and they put a new band together and all that, and my dad kind of discovered at that time that he was a pretty decent songwriter, so he started hanging out with all the guys here in town, and very well respected. He had a lot of cool stuff going. He wrote Love in the First Degree by Alabama, and Ain't No Trick by Lee Greenwood, and Am I Too Late by Gladys Knight, and the list goes on, and A Working Man by John Connolly, and the list just keeps going. He had 40-something major cuts, so it was a pretty good run for him, and kind of bred the bug into me,
Right.
So.
When did you really get in touch with yourself to the point where you knew that this is something that you really wanted to go for and go after it?
I've been writing and singing my whole life, but had to raise my family and do my thing, and stuck that out, and my kids are grown, and I decided about 3 years ago that I was just going to quit my job and lock the doors on my business and go for it, and about 3 weeks later I landed a gig with a guy named Colt Ford, and went out with him and was tour manager for about a year, and then about midway between that year, the singer that, if you know anything about Colt, his stuff is country rap. Well, he does, he writes it, and he's the guy, and he's the performer and all that stuff. But it is. It's a highly energized show, but it requires a singer to do the choruses,
right.
And to tag the lines and stuff. And so then, about halfway through my first year with him, they asked me if I wanted to be the singer, and I said yeah. So. One minute I'm the tour manager backstage lining everything up. Next thing I'm pulling double duty and I'm tour manager and the singer, and that worked out real well for a long time. Colt's a great friend of mine. I'll always love him, and all those guys out there like my family, we spend a lot of time in a bus together, you get to know somebody real well when you're out there on a bus together. But we did that, and then the end of '09, I just decided that it was my time to go do my own thing, so came home and started writing songs and started getting my show together and all that, and then somewhere about June of 2010 I put my first show on the road, and my very first show was Bama Jam down in Alabama, and big festival down there, and it's been high speed ever since, man. We've been headlining all over the place and doing support act shows and all that kind of stuff, and tonight it's my third Nashville headlining show. So,
well, tell me more about when you recorded this album. About the whole process of choosing your producers and whatnot, and tell me a little bit more about that story and how it evolved.
The record we're working on right now, the record we're pushing right now, is all I self-produced it. It's all my idea, and I just took a bunch of demos that I had done over the years, and I redid those and put them together, and wrote a couple new songs and put them together, and that one was just it was kind of a fast thing. I needed to hurry up and get it done, so we put that out just to have an EP out or something like that. And then now I'm working on a new record, and a couple of guys that are opening for me tonight, Drake White and Randall Brown, they gave me some great songs, and I put those in my set, and so it hadn't been long, man. We've been just pushing hard, but things are looking real good. It's kind of a miracle, that at this point in my life I can just take off and do what I'm doing, and there's a lot of people jumping on the trains.
And since you've done that, now that you're on this tour now, what part or what point of this tour were you standing on the stage and you felt that feeling like, you know, this is awesome, man. It's really going to pay off, man. It's starting to pay off, and it's just, I'm thankful. And you felt an awe, like you had that feeling, the overwhelming feeling.
We, like I said, we started off, we did this show called Bama Jam down in Alabama, Enterprise, Alabama. It drew about 60,000 people for the whole weekend. Of course, they weren't all for me, obviously. They were. I wish they were, but that's a real cool organization, man. And I know those guys real well. And I just called them up and said I need to do a show, and so they put me on that, and that was a real good show for me. And just oddly enough, Colt Ford was the next act right after me, so I kind of opened for Colt, which was just incredible, you know, to be on the same show as them, you know. But right after that, we went out to Myrtle Beach, and I had no idea what my draw was going to be like, you know. I just figured I'd put it all together and see what happens, you know. We went out to Myrtle Beach, and I drew about 500 people just based on my name, and I was like, at that moment, I said, man, this is my second show. I got 500 people standing in front of me, and I don't even really know what to say to them right now. You know, it's like I don't even know what's going on. You know, it was kind of surreal. You know, so that's pretty much the moment where I realized I got to keep doing this. You know, because if just from being on the road with Colt and those people remembered me, and I got 500 people show up. You know, a couple hundred of those people probably, it was an outdoor thing and it was a festival type thing. You know, but I know I stood in line for about 3 hours shaking everybody's hands after it was done. So there was quite a few of them that were there to see me, you know. But that's about the moment where I realized this is something I got to keep doing, you know. So we came back home and kind of refined the show, and then we opened for a band called Blackberry Smoke here in town, and played over at the Mercy Lounge, and that show was just incredible. I was the first act on that night, and I played at 8 o'clock sharp. And I promoted it for about 3 weeks or something, and I had about 300 people show up, you know, at 8 o'clock. And the owners of the club came up to me and said, man, in 4 years, we had never seen nobody pack this many people in here at 8 o'clock at night, you know, so it was pretty cool.
You know, on the road, do you find it, you know, hard to keep in touch with your families and keep that everything right, or you find everybody supportive, or are you learning that everybody's more supportive than you thought they were? Or, I mean, what's that whole experience like?
I guess I am learning that there's a lot of supporters out there, you know, especially my family and stuff. I mean, they've been big believers for a long time, you know, and they've all preached to me forever that I needed to be doing it, you know, and just took me a while to get, you know, I guess the wherewithal to make it happen, you know, and put it all together, you know. But fortunately with technology, you know, you got everything in the world from Twitter to enough to drive you absolutely crazy, because I'm not real super great with the social networks, but I try, you know. I got me one of them fancy iPhones so I can keep up with all that stuff now. You know?
Tell everybody in Nashville where they can find your music, and a little bit more what you got planned for 2011.
Everything I got network, you know, internet based, is all tagged with Chris Hurt Music. So my website's chrishurtmusic.com, and you can go to facebook.com/Chris Hurt Music, and Twitter Chris Hurt Music, and Reverb Nation, and all. I can't even name them all. I just did a new one called Our Band or something that's tied together with MTV or something, you know. Yeah, I don't either. But it's, you know, there's a lot of different ways, but everything's tagged with Chris Hurt Music. The easiest way to do it is just go to chrishurtmusic.com, and you can hear all the songs and all that stuff.
Do you have any plans of recording any or making any music videos in the future, possibly for CMT or any other networks?
We are, I'm blessed, man, I tell you. There's a guy, like I was saying earlier, his name's Drake White, and buddy his name Leith Lofton. They wrote this incredible song. It's called Born 50 Years Too Late, and that's one of the singles that I'm pushing right now, and I've been through another one called Harleys and John Deere already. So we didn't shoot a video on Harleys and John Deere yet, but both of those songs, we're working on some concepts right now, trying to figure out what to do, you know, which one to do first and all that. But definitely both those songs will have a video at some point. And we just found out not too long ago that XM radio is going to be pushing our stuff. Really? And there's a couple other things going on out there, you know, that it's going to be a real good year. So yeah, we're working on some concepts for some videos and see what happens, you know, but definitely one of those 2 songs will be the first one.
Well, that's great, guys, and thank you for tuning in to Amped Up Magazine, and we look forward to seeing your show, Chris, and Amped Up will definitely be supporting you in the future.